Welcome to a quick demo of our new data preparation and code generation tool. This is a new web-based tool to help you prepare, clean, and transform your data. You can do things like filter, validate, transform, and summarize your data. Once you're finished, you can export the final results to Excel and other formats. You can also generate data pipeline code to automate the steps later if you're a developer. Now, this tool is built on top of DataPipeline, our embedded data processing engine. And what you're going to see here is an early access release of the tool. It's currently in development, and we would appreciate any feedback that you can share. This particular demo will show you how to summarize a CSV file containing tweets exported using our BirdIQ tool. Now, if you're on our main page, you can scroll to the bottom, and we've got a tools section, and you just click Transform Tools. To get to this page, you can just type in northconcepts.com, you can type in DataPipeline.io, or you can just search for Java Data Pipeline and it'll all come up. So when you click Transform Data Online, you'll get to our tool, and in this stage what you need to do is drag and drop a CSV file, and that file will be uploaded and you'll be taken to our main data preparation screen. Now this screen has a few different parts to it. The top part contains all the commands that you can execute, and we've grouped those into tabs. So you've got the transform, aggregate, and validate tabs, and we're going to be introducing more tools and more tabs as we go along. The next section contains your data and columns. So the data contains all the data, all the data that was in the CSV file. You can see that all here. And the columns contains metadata around those columns. So you can see the name of the column, the type, and so on. Most of the times you'll be working in the data page. We've got two buttons at the top. The first button is an export button. So at any time that you're working with data, you can export your data to CSV in Excel. And again, we'll be introducing other formats as well. And you can also export the columns. Finally, if you're a developer, you can click Generate Code, and you can see the data pipeline code to do exactly what you've been doing here by clicking around the buttons. Now, on the right side, we've got a few different tabs here as well. The first is the File tab, and that shows you information about the file that you uploaded. So the file name, the type, the size, and so on. The next tab are the Properties, and this shows you the properties of whichever column you have selected. So for example, this is retweet. You can see that it's a string because it's coming from CSV, and sometimes you're working with data and the column says one thing, but it contains multiple types. However, in this case, it only contains a single type, and when we looked at it, we inferred that it was a text, so that matches. We can see that there are over 1,800 values in this column, but there are only 2 unique values. And there are no null values, no blank values. Minimum length is 4, maximum length is 5. And if you click the Unique Values tab, you can see the actual unique values that we found in that column. So we found over 1,100 trues and over 600 false. Finally, if you click on the History tab, you would see all the actions that you've performed. However, we haven't performed any actions yet, so it's blank. So this particular demo, what we want to do is we want to count the tweets by the languages that we've seen. So the first thing we'll do is go to the Aggregate tab and click the Group Fields command, and we'll select the lang field, and then we'll add another couple fields. So Twitter has a secondary language field, which is the language of the user who's actually tweeting. And then finally, we'll add another field that we'll use as the count. So any field will do, but we'll give it a name. We'll leave the first 2 fields blank. We'll leave their target field names blank because we just want to use the same as the source field. But in this case, we want to actually give it a specific name. So that's it. We click OK, and now you can see the data has changed. And in the History tab, we now have one action, which is the Group Fields action. And if you look at this new column, you can see we're actually counting the languages, but they're all out of order. So the next thing we need to do is sort it. So we'll call the sort command, and we'll sort by count of lang, and we'll make that descending so we get the largest values first, and then we'll sort by lang and sort by user lang. So now you can see all the values are in order. You can see that English tweet by an English user, that's the predominant number of tweets that we have, over 1,300. And then we have English tweets by British users, Japanese tweets by Japanese users, and so on. Now let's say that we've got the data that we want, but we want to rearrange the columns. So we can choose the select arrange fields command, and this operates similar to the SQL select. So we want to move the count of lang first, so we'll move that up, and we'll leave the other two as they are. Now, if you had a lot of columns, then at this point you can take the opportunity to delete them. So if I wanted to delete a couple columns, I'd just select them and hit delete. But in this case, we want them all, so we'll leave them here. So now we've got the data laid out in the arrangement that we want. We've got the count of lang first, lang, and user lang. And at this point, we can export the data to Excel or CSV. And if you're a programmer, as I mentioned before, you can generate the code. Now what you're seeing here is the data pipeline code corresponding to the actions that we just performed. So the first thing we did was we read a CSV file, then we did a group by, so we grouped by the lang and user lang, and then we did a count on all the records passing through. Next we sorted, so we sorted descending on count of lang, then ascending lang and user lang, and then we rearranged the columns by selecting the fields in the arrangement that we wanted. And finally, this generated code always writes to CSV. However, Data Pipeline supports a lot of different formats, a lot of different operations. So what I suggest you do is click on the Learn About Data Pipeline and have a look at the examples, the example code, have a look at the docs, just to get familiar with the things that we can do. And as I mentioned before, this is a work in progress. So this is the first release of the tool, and we would appreciate any feedback that you can provide. If you run into any issues, please let us know. Just click the Contact Us link at the bottom and fill out the form. You can also click the email and just send us an email. And yeah, that's about it. So please give the tool a try. Get your CSV files out and drag and drop them and play around, and just let us know what you think. Thank you very much.